What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Mika Chanel, back with another edition of Mika Chanel's Just Saying. Tonight we're talking about the Real Housewives of Orange County, season number 10, episode number 11. All right, this episode, we're going to start off with Shannon and David trying their hardest to discipline their twin daughters, right? These little girls don't want to hear anything that Shannon and David have to say about them TP in the house. Because you remember, I don't know if I talked about it in my other blog, but when the ladies touched down and where were they at on their vacation? Now I forgot where the hell they were on their vacation. But anyways, I guess Shannon had gotten a call from David saying that the girls, they went on their first sleepover and they ended up TP in the house. And not only that, but their one daughter, Stella, fell over a fence or something and like sprung her ankle or something. I'm not sure, but the little girl's on crutches. So anyway, Shannon and David are sitting down trying to discipline the girls and put them on punishment or whatever. But these girls are not having it, okay? They're only like 10 years old. But they are talking crazy about their mouths right now. And I understand because I have an 8-year-old and she can come out of her mouth with some crazy things too. But you know what? The difference is I knock the mess out of her and knock her teeth out. You know what? I probably wouldn't even do all that because my daughter doesn't get whoopings. But I'll body slam her little ass on the bed and shake her there like, who do you think you're talking to? Who do you think you're talking to? Because first of all, Stella goes, she was like, you guys don't know how to have fun. And Shannon's like, I'm queen of fun. And she's like, yeah, maybe of drinking. What? Hold up. No, you didn't. All you do is go out to lunches and dinners with your friends and this and that. And then of course David starts talking about when he was a little kid and he used to do things like that or whatever, which doesn't help the situation in any way. So David finally tells the girls that they have to write a letter to apologize to the people's house, the owners of the houses that they TP'd or whatever. So anyways, this scene was just kind of crazy to me because I'm sitting there like, these little girls need something to happen to them. I don't know if you're going to body slam them on the couch and shake them. You're going to pop them and knock their teeth down their throat. Or you're just going to lock them in the room and take away all of their electronics or whatever. One of those three things need to happen more than writing a dang note. Because they was coming up out their mouth with some crazy mess, right? I mean, And I know how kids are. Like I said, I have an 8-year-old, but you got to check it. Better check it. Anyway, so Megan and Jim are having lunch, and she's saying that this is the first time that they've actually like seen each other face to face in 3.5 weeks. I can't even imagine going 3.5 weeks without seeing my husband, and then like this is the norm for them. So that is like really crazy. And she was just kind of telling him like, this back and forth thing is just not working. She was like, I know that we did this because of Haley, so she could be closer to her mom, but it's just not working for me right now. And then they moved into the topic of talking about Haley and her schooling, and she was just kind of telling Jim kind of what Vicki was saying about, Haley needing to be in school and having some kind of accountability and things like that. But Jim, did I say David? I meant to say Jim. If I did say David, I'm sorry. Jim is Megan's husband. Anyways, so Jim is not feeling it. He is just like, look, she's going to be who she's going to be. She doesn't have that much drive. She, once she decides she's going to go to college, because Megan's like, well, what is she going to do after high school? He's like, well, she wants to go to college. And then Megan's like, what, like community college? And he's like, no, And then Megan's like, well, how is she going to do that? She's already a senior, and most kids that are seniors have already, had some kind of plans by now. And he's like, oh, well, she'll figure it out when she goes to register and the classes are full. Well, register for what? Because I don't think she's going to get into any college unless you're going to buy her into college, okay? Because from the way she's acting, I don't know how her grades are or whatever, but it doesn't seem like she's doing that well. Just from what Megan says or whatever. And he's just like, well, she just doesn't have that drive or whatever. I'm like, that's because you didn't instill it in her. Like, I guess he's had custody of this little girl for a long time. And he's just kind of like, he didn't even seem to even care about anything that Megan was saying about the little girl needing to be in school or anything. He was just like, everybody needs to mind their own business, and she's fine, and she'll figure it out. Well, no, she won't figure it out because she's got daddy's money to fall back on. So that's a little strange. So I guess it's not all the way Megan. Jim is, just too much of a laid back parent or whatever. And then he's telling Megan, you want her to push her, but you need to fall back a little bit. So Megan's like, what am I, like a glorified babysitter or whatever? That's not what I signed up for. I signed up to be a step parent to try to guide her, which I don't know how far her guidance is going to get her, but at least she's concerned about the girls, education or whatever. So anyways, it was just kind of, the whole conversation was a little sad to me. The way that Jim was just being so nonchalant about his daughter's education. I'm like, I mean, it's just high school, but at the same time, it's just high school. So she should be in school. And you should be wondering, like, what is she going to do afterwards? I mean, I know that you're a millionaire, but how far are your millions going to go? Like, I mean, she's going to become an adult and she's just going to be leaning on daddy's money. Eventually, daddy's money may not be there all the time, especially if you keep buying all these dang houses and stuff like you're doing or whatever. But maybe she has a good trust fund set up. Who knows? I don't even know, like, him as a baseball player. I don't know anything about Jim Edmonds. I mean, I'm assuming he's, like, big time. I've heard his name, but I don't know if he's, like, a big time player. I don't know anything about his contracts or whatever. So, I don't know. But he just didn't seem that interested in discussing his daughter's education. So, it's not important to him. Anyways, moving on. So the next scene, it was like Tamra, Eddie, and Tamra's mom. There was nothing really going on in this scene except for, first Tamra was like saying something about she was going to have her psychic meet the other ladies. And then she was talking to her mom about the psychic saying something about her brushing her grandmother's hair and saying, oh, now it's my turn or whatever. And I guess that's something that Tamra used to say to her grandmother when Tamra was a little kid and she didn't even realize that her mom had to tell her. But really the thing that I wanted to talk about in this scene is that did Eddie really say that in front of Tamra's mom? Did Eddie really say, what did he say? That since they're not working together anymore, they're having more sex. Her mom looked at him like, what? And then Tamra's like, Eddie, my mom's right here, did you not see my mom right here? What's going on? And she's like, your mama knows all about sex. I'm like, it's not the point that she knows about it. She don't need to know about my sex. Ew, I don't want anything about that coming up around my mom or my dad or even my older brothers and sisters. It's just really weird. Like, I have brothers and sisters that are like 12 and 10 years older than me. And like my brother always trying to talk about sex, but I'm just like, I don't want to talk about that with you guys. Like, that is just I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. I can talk about it with my friends, and I used to sell sex toys, so I'm not like, it's not like I can't talk about it. It's just, it's an age thing, I guess. I want to talk about it with people in my group, in my age group. Anyways, so in the next scene, you see Megan, Heather, and Shannon having lunch. So first, actually, Shannon, who did I say? Megan, Heather, and Shannon? No, I meant Megan, Heather, and Tamra. It's just too many ladies to keep track. And I watched like all of the Bravo shows. I'm like, all the names are mixing up. Anyway, so first though, Shannon and Tamra get there. And for some reason, they bring the topic to Shannon and Megan, saying that Shannon has an issue with Megan because I guess it goes back to the whole shit starter comment that Megan told, Tamra that Shannon had said about her or whatever. And so somehow Tamra turns that into, well, she has a problem with Megan and she's like insecure around Megan or whatever. And they're just trying to figure out what that's about. So in walks Megan and they thankfully drop that topic and don't discuss it in front of in front of Megan. But then they started talking about the fact that they felt like Brooks may not be sick or something like that. Like, I don't know what was going on with that. And so then the psychic comes in and he starts like reading, just right away, like reading them. Like he reads Heather, says something about Heather's grandmother is around. He says something to Megan about, you're going to have your own baby. I can see you screaming for your own child or whatever. And you're going to have your own biological baby. You just need to get out of your own way. Stop worrying about what people think about you. Stop putting on this facade and just be you. Concentrate on you and making yourself happy and things like that. And so then what I thought was really weird was that he started reading Vicki and Shannon and they weren't even there. And he was saying Shannon has a problem with Megan. And then he's like, and Brooks doesn't have cancer. And I'm like, first of all, how are you reading people that aren't there? Don't you need to feel their presence or something like that? And Tamara's like, she's never even seen this guy in person. Like, they've only done, FaceTimed or whatever. So how can a psychic FaceTime? I just don't get it. I don't know how all that works or whatever, but I mean, I don't believe in it, but people do believe in it, and I just don't understand how it can work. So I would think that you would need to be in the same room with somebody at the very least, you know? So anyway, so I just did not like the fact that he brought up Brooks' cancer, and then to say that Brooks is faking cancer. And I just really feel like it's probably, because Tamra's like, they talk like 3 times a week. I'm sure Tamra has filled him in on each one of the ladies and the issues that they have with each other and things like that. So that's why I was just a little, I didn't like the fact that he brought up Brooks and the cancer thing, because I just felt like it wasn't his place. 2, Vicki wasn't even there, or Brooks, to be read. So why are they even bringing that up? And then I just felt like it was just a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? I felt like it might have been like Tamra had already been telling him these things, and now she's bringing him on camera to kind of validate kind of what she feels, but she doesn't want to really say how she really feels, because she doesn't want Vicki to see it later on while she's watching the show and get upset and, you know what I'm saying, drop her as a friend again. So she's going and doing all of this in a roundabout way or whatever. But, you know, Tamra, you're a shit starter, just like Shannon said last week or the week before, whenever it was. So anyway, so we're going to move on. So Tamra invites all the ladies over to Cut Fitness to try out her new booty workout that she created. So all the ladies are there, and all the ladies end up coming. And poor Shannon was struggling through the whole workout. Like, she couldn't even do a lunge. The girl was struggling. I'm like, Shannon, I thought you were working with your personal trainer. I mean, I'm sure he has you doing lunges, girl. What is going on? You need to get it together, okay? You need to get it together. Now, you said you were going to get your body back in shape, so you need to be working on that. Like, I mean, how can you not even do a lunge, girl? I felt so bad for poor Shannon. She was struggling. She was really struggling. Anyways, so after the class was over, the class looked like it was really actually a lot of fun. It made me want to go to the gym and do a booty class, because I work out at home. Like I told y'all, I'm on my little weight loss journey, so I work out at home in my basement. So like I'm doing Tracy Anderson right now, and sometimes I do Tybo. But it just made me want to go and buy go to like a fitness class, or go buy one of those stair stepper things and start doing it, because it looked like a lot of fun. But anyway, so after the class was over, she had already invited Brooks to come, I guess, to be there at the time that the class was going to end. So Brooks comes, and it's his birthday, so she surprises him. She has a birthday cake for him. She has some sparkling sake or whatever. And so they all, after a workout now, no, I didn't even see anybody drink water. They were drinking this sake and eating birthday cake. And I mean, Tamra's being really nice to Brooks this season, and I just really feel like it's a bunch of BS. Like I said before, I just think that she wants Vicki on her team, on her side again, and she's, trying to fake the funk with Brooks, which is whatever. So they're all eating birthday cake, and then they start questioning Brooks about his treatment, and he's like, I'm stopping chemo for at least 90 days because I'm going to go try this other alternative treatment. And then they start questioning Vicki, like, do you go to his doctor's appointments with him? And she's like, yeah, I do. Sometimes I can make it, sometimes I can't. There is a mosquito in here, and I just felt it bite my foot. Anyways, so then, they just kind of talk back and forth about that. And then Brooks makes like some kind of slip up by saying that the new doctor that he's going to see for this alternative medicine, he's like, yeah, he had the same kind of cancer that I did, or that I do and that he did, or whatever, which I think that was just kind of like an honest mistake. I don't think that he's faking cancer, but just that little slip up made, Tamra and Megan, I guess they caught that. Of course they caught it because they're the shit starters. The shit starters always are listening for the smallest little thing, the smallest little slip of the tongue, just a slip up of, somebody didn't react in a certain way or whatever. The shit starters are always paying attention to all of that, okay? Nobody else paid attention to it but them. So anyway, once Brooks and Vicki leaves, of course, there goes the conversation. They start talking about Brooks. Megan brings up the fact that the psychic told them that Brooks did not have cancer. She's telling this to Shannon because Shannon was not at the lunch with them, of course. So Tamra is kind of a little uneasy about it because she's like, she didn't want it to be brought up. But yes, you did, Tamra. You wanted it to be brought up, and you're happy that Megan brought it up. You know what I mean? And that's probably why you invited Megan to that lunch, because you knew she was going to be the one to bring it up, because you know Heather wasn't going to do it. So anyways, so they started talking about it, and they're like, well, why would somebody with cancer quit chemo or whatever? Well, there's people that have cancer that never even do chemo. There's all kind of different alternative treatments that people do, and it may or may not work, just like chemo may or may not work. Chemo is not the end all to be all. It's just the most common thing that people are used to when someone says that they have cancer. You know what I mean? That's just the most common thing that people think of to do. But chemo in itself is very dangerous. You're putting a poison into your body. You know what I mean? So sometimes people don't want to go through that. And this is his third round of cancer, and he wants to try something different. And even Shannon was saying, like, people try all kind of alternatives. Chemo is not like the only thing that someone with cancer can do or whatever. And then they're like, well, why did he say he did have it and then switch it up to say he does have it or whatever? So they are like going on and on and on and on about the fact that they don't think he has cancer. And Shannon is just sitting there, and she's feeling really uncomfortable because Vicki and Brooks, they're her friends, and she doesn't want, people talking about them in that way. So, they continue to go on and on and on. And, I just did not like it. I don't like it. I hate the way they keep bringing Brooks up. Like, why is he even a concern of theirs? Like, he's not a housewife on the show. He's Vicki's boyfriend. So, they only have to tolerate him when Vicki is around. You know what I mean? So why is he a topic of discussion? I'm sure all of their husbands have some issues going on that they could probably talk about, but they choose to pick on Brooks for year after year after year after year. Like, so what if he is not a good person to Vicki? So what if this and that? Vicki is a grown woman. She knows what Brooks is about. She wants him in her life. You know what I mean? And I don't think anybody would fake cancer. That's just kind of silly. And then Megan's like, oh, well, somebody at my old job fake cancer. Well, Megan, go sit down somewhere, okay? Anyways. But yeah, Vicki knows everything about Brooks. She knows about the conversation he had with her son-in-law about beating up Brianna if she don't stay in line, and just all kinds of stuff. And if she's okay with it, then you be okay with it. You know what I mean? And you don't have to be around him that often. He's not. I just don't understand why these ladies think that Brooks is a topic up for discussion amongst them when Vicki's not around. I just really don't. Anyways, so the next thing you see, Shannon and her husband David, they're meeting Vicki and Brooks out for dinner to continue celebrating Brooks' birthday. And I guess, Brooks is tossing back cocktails or whatever, and this is making Shannon uncomfortable because she's like, the sugar from the alcohol is feeding the cancer. She's like really into all that natural things and just different things that you're supposed to do when you're sick, So she asked Vicki to go into the restroom with her, and while she's in the restroom, like, Shannon just starts crying because she's very emotional. She doesn't want to bring up the fact that they were talking about Brooks after he and Vicki left, but at the same time, she feels obligated to bring it up, So she starts to talk about it, and Vicki is just like, you know what? If it's anything negative about Brooks, I don't want to hear it, because, I keep having to go through this all the time with these ladies. They're always talking about me and Brooks, and they need to just leave us alone. So if it's anything negative, I don't want to hear about it. And so Shannon, is so upset. She's crying. She's like, I'm so sorry. I don't want to ruin the night. I just felt like I needed to bring it up because it was really weighing on me or whatever. And Vicki just walks away from her. She walks out of the bathroom, goes back to sit down. Shannon comes back, she's crying, but then of course Vicki doesn't let it go. Vicki is still really upset, and she's like, I don't really care what they said, and and Brooks is like, what's going on? And he's like, Vicki, don't shoot the messenger. So Shannon never actually got out what she wanted to say, because Vicki just started going off. And I can understand Vicki's frustration because people are always talking about her man, but Shannon isn't the one that's talking about your man, okay? Shannon is the one that's always on your side, so you should not have gone off on her like that. But she's emotional, her mother recently passed, then Brooks is going through this, and then, somebody's bringing up something else negative about Brooks, and I'm sure it's just, and Vicki's just a kind of like a person that's kind of wound a little tightly anyway. So, so this just kind of, I wouldn't say she's wound tightly. you know, if someone says something about her loved ones, she gets a little crazy, you know, and she doesn't, you know, she's just like, I don't want to hear it. So she and Shannon kind of have back and forth, and Shannon's just like, I don't want to upset you, and you know, and Brooks is trying to get Vicki to calm down. So Vicki just leaves, you know, and that's how the episode goes off. I just don't know. I just wish Vicki hadn't yelled at Shannon like that. It really wasn't necessary, and I just wish she would have listened to Brooks and just sat down and just kind of been a little bit more calm. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I get it, and then at the same time, like, you just don't talk to people in that kind of way, Vicki, you know? So hopefully I don't think that this is going to ruin anything that she and Shannon have as far as a friendship. I just think that Vicki needs to calm down. You know, she's, like I said, she's very emotional right now, and it's very understandable, you know? And maybe Shannon could have brought it up at a different time, but at the same time, someone is saying something like that about someone that you care about, then, you know, you do want to tell them, you know what I'm saying? And you want to tell them as soon as possible because you don't want it to get back to them that you heard all of this information and didn't tell them, you know what I mean? So, I mean, Shannon was kind of put into a no-win situation, but whatever. So that's kind of how that is how the episode goes off. I guess next week Vicki's gonna confront Megan about it or whatever. I don't know, because you know all the editing, you never know what really happens, but that's kind of it. That's all that happened. Nothing really exciting happening in Orange County tonight. The ladies, you know, I think this is a calm episode. Vicki did mention to Brooks that she whipped it up a little too hard on vacation. She's like, I'm getting a little too old. She's like, I think this last vacation may have left some scars, okay? Because they were drinking. I mean, they were drinking like they're, like, I don't even know. They were drinking like the vodka was water. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like their life preserve. So yeah, so that's it. I don't know. This I don't think this vlog is very exciting, but the episode wasn't that exciting. So anyways, until next time, you guys. Oh wait, I'm not gonna say until next time because I forgot what I was gonna say. Well, never mind. So I will say until next time. Until next time, you guys, please stay real, stay safe, and stay tuned to Mika Chanel Is Just Saying. And if I remember what I was going to say, I will put it in the bottom, all right? Bye-bye.